We're on the verge of the NBA playoffs. It's been a great NBA season. The only downside to this NBA season pretty much has been the injuries. There's been a lot of season-ending injuries, such as Chris Bosh, Julius Randle, Jabari Parker. That's just to name a few. Of course, Kobe Bryant. How can I leave him out? But we finally have good injury news. In the past week, we have seen Paul George and Derrick Rose return from injury. Paul George, we know, broke his leg in 2 places over the summer during a USA exhibition game. That was a horrific injury. And 8 months later, he's back on the court. So is Derrick Rose. And on Monday night, Paul George and Derrick Rose both took the court. I see miracles aren't a facade. And with Derrick Rose back from his minor meniscus surgery, the Eastern Conference playoffs just got a whole lot more interesting. Welcome back to the Best Damn Sports Blog. Back again to talk NBA with you guys, specifically injury news. And this time, it isn't bad injury news. In the past, 4 days, we've seen Paul George return from injury. He suffered a broken leg, which was horrific. And tonight, Derrick Rose made his return after having a minor surgery on his meniscus to go in and repair it. But this is great news for NBA fans and the NBA itself. It's always great to have stars return from injury, especially a former MVP in Derrick Rose, and Paul George, who was an MVP candidate just a year ago, led Indiana to the 1st seed. But I want to get into Derrick Rose. He made his return tonight in a loss to Orlando. He finished with just 9 points on 3 of 9 shooting in only 19 minutes. But I was just glad to see Derrick Rose back because honestly, I thought he wouldn't return this season after, in the past we've seen Derrick Rose sit out extended amount of time when people felt he could be back on the court. So I didn't expect him to come back, and I would have not been upset if he chose to wait until next season because this would be his 3rd surgery, 2nd on that specific knee, and his 2nd major surgery. So I can't fault him, man, for wanting to make sure he's 100% healthy before he gets back on a basketball court. I mean, it's easy for you fans to criticize from a couch, but until you go through a major surgery, you can never relate to what Derrick Rose is going through. And to be able to go back on a basketball court and trust your same knee that has failed you twice, like, come on. So I just find the people who criticize Derrick Rose to be idiotic because if they were in his shoes, I'm pretty sure their health would be their first concern, not the Chicago Bulls. And as for the Bulls, they currently sit in 4th following their loss to Orlando. They're tied in wins with Toronto and losses, 46-32. Toronto has the tiebreaker. Cleveland has clinched the 2nd seed. So 3rd and 4th, this fight between Toronto and Chicago is going to be crucial. But what's funny about it is, I don't know if those 2 teams will rather face Atlanta or Cleveland in the 2nd round. Because whoever finishes 4th, they'll have Atlanta in the Eastern Conference semis. Whoever finishes 3rd, they get the Cavaliers. LBJ, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love, JR, Mozgov, Iman Shumpert. That's as deep as it gets when it comes to the Eastern Conference at least. But when it comes down to Toronto, they have the easier schedule of the 2 teams. They don't face any team over 500 currently. Chicago, they face 1 team, the Hawks, last game of the season. Atlanta, they have nothing to play for, so that's probably going to be a win for Chicago. So this is going to be a tight race. Toronto owns the tiebreaker, so Chicago is going to have to end up with a better record. So it's going to be tough. But I think Chicago will willingly take on the Cavaliers. We know Joakim Noah hates Cleveland, hates LeBron, and he has no problem telling any of us about it. But I think the Cavaliers, they want Chicago to finish 4th. So them and Atlanta face off in the 2nd round, and one will be eliminated, and they'll only have to face one on the road to the finals. I'm pretty sure that's what Cleveland is hoping for. I mean, we know Derrick Rose probably isn't going to be 100% at all for the rest of this season, but the Bulls have been more than competent without him, and with him on the court, that's definitely an addition. They just got Taj back as well, so the Bulls are getting healthy at the right time. Dunleavy recently came back, probably about a month ago. So this is a scary team. They actually been there before, not to the finals, but this core of Bulls players have made a run. The Cavs, they have players like Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love that have never been down that road before. So this is a scary team for this Cavaliers team. I think they will handle the Bulls regardless, but that could be a hard-fought 6-7 game series that really pushes the Cavaliers. And then to have to go face Atlanta after that would be really tough for the Cavaliers. So I know they're hoping for Chicago to finish fourth to face Atlanta in the second round, making Cleveland's road to the finals even easier. And let's not forget the Bulls beat the Cavs soundly in the United Center, and Cleveland did not look great. And when the Bulls have their intended starting five this season, they are 15-4. They're nothing to sneeze at. But getting back to Derrick Rose, in his return, he didn't necessarily do great. But he had one play where he showed a flash of the old Derrick Rose, which is huge news for the Chicago Bulls. Derrick Rose went coast to coast, blowing past all the Orlando defenders, laid it in with no regard for his body. And like I said, that's a great sign for Chicago, great sign for the NBA and Derrick Rose. Hopefully he will be 100% come playoffs, where he can trust his knee and be able to play without regard, because that would be great for the NBA as well as the Chicago fans. And as NBA fans, we just want to see great series. I want to see the Cavaliers versus Bulls with the healthy Derrick Rose playing at his best. We probably won't be able to see him at his best, but if we see him at 85 to 90%, I'll be thankful with that. And that should be at least a 6 to 7 game series.